Me? Now?
You're live.
I'm on?
Yeah.
Whew, jeez. How's everybody doing today? It's Steve with your Zoo Adventure from the North Carolina Zoo. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as I told you, we'd be over at Arctic Fox today. Hope you guys are ready for this. We got some really neat stuff we want to share with you about these guys. Kind of where they're from, how they're related, which is really kind of neat. Hey, wait. Hey.
Those aren't foxes.
Hey, it's Sally. These are foxes. Awesome. That was Sally. That's one of their keepers. What are you guys doing out here? It's my Nicole. Nicole too. We have Nicole on the left and Sally on the right. What are you guys doing? This is my episode.
We're putting out enrichment for our foxes.
Enrichment?
Yeah.
Hey, we've heard about that before.
Giving us some fun things to do today. We're putting out
Right.
piles of ice.
There.
And in that ice right there, I have salmon oil in it, so it's going to smell really good.
And why are you covering it?
I'm covering it so they'll dig in it and maybe even pounce on it, which is some really cool fox behavior.
Are you doing the same thing over here, Nicole?
Yeah.
Very cool. Neat. And that idea is to get them, it's things that they might be doing kind of in the wild, looking for food, trying to find what's out there. And they're going to jump in the piles of ice, you think?
I hope so. I'm going to put a couple
How
of
cool will that be?
pieces of it, too.
Oh, like candles.
Sort of, yeah.
It's almost their birthdays, right? I think May, I think.
In May.
That's cool.
At the end of May.
The end of May, I think, because I got to cheat a little bit. May 20 and 24, I don't know who's who, but I think those are the numbers. Wow. Well, awesome. Well, before we get started with these guys, we'll let them finish up. We don't have much of a shout out, though. I was trying to think of a really cool shout out today. What?
Yeah, Steve, let them give a
They
shout
got a
out.
You have a shout out? So Nicole says she has a shout out.
I have 3 shout-outs.
All right.
I say hi to my niece and nephew, Madeline and Dexter,
Aw.
as well as my daughter, Noelle.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. You have one?
I have a shout out. I have 3 shout outs as well. I have shout outs to my daughters, Liberty and Waverly. And then I have a shout out to my mom, Linda Stanley. She's up in Virginia.
Oh, no kidding. Well, there you go. That's a great idea. Thank you guys so very much. That was fun. Cool. So we'll let them finish up what they're doing. So the Arctic fox, an amazing animal, lives in the far, far north. And like I said, they're going to let these guys out in a little bit. We'll see what's going to happen. They're bright white right now. Sort of. Oh, what are they doing? They're like, hey, the keepers are still here. So beautiful image of Rizzo right there. That's Rizzo. She's 5. Oh, and there's Kaniki. Is that Kaniki or Rizzo? That's Rizzo. We have Rizzo and Kaniki. Hi. Chomping on that ice.
I don't want to get too close to the mesh because it'll scare them off. So sorry, you're going to have to just look through the mesh.
You can do that, can't you guys? Look how close. Oh, we'll come over here now. How neat. Again, thank you to Sally and Nicole for coming out and setting up this enrichment for the animals. Should have asked them what everything was. Looked like pinky mice, maybe some berries.
I think they have some salmon dog food. There's that pouncing.
Oh yeah, I'll
Digging.
get to it. Nice. That is so cool. That's that salmon oil at the bottom. Sally told us there was salmon oil down there. So this is Rizzo again. Rizzo's almost 5. He'll be 5 at the end of the month. And Kaniki's back in the back. Right now we can tell them apart pretty easily because Kaniki is shedding, losing a lot of that fur. They're really white in the wintertime, obviously, and you guys know already why. They're wonderful camouflage in the winter. But in the summertime, if they were that really stark, that's awesome.
So cool.
If they were that stark white, any animal could see them. They're prey, and even animals that might hunt them. He found some of that salmon oil down there. So as you can see on Kaniki, off to the right here, looks like Kaniki might, we'll see. Kaniki is losing that white fur. perfectly normal. They're just shedding. If you have a dog or a cat at home, you've seen that before, where the animals shed out and they look a little funky. Totally normal. It's a great shot there. And after they lose that white fur, they have more of a gray appearance. And that gray appearance helps them blend in or hide with the rocks and other environmental geology that's around them at that time. Nicole and Sally were telling us they've been really digging a lot lately. This is Kaniki. They are brother and sister, so no breeding here. They're brother and sister. Kaniki's a year younger. This is Rizzo. Again, Rizzo is 5, and Kaniki is 4. With birth dates at the end of, they turn that at the end of May. I should say that out loud. They do turn that at the end of May. How nice of it was Sally and Nicole to put out the enrichment for us. You saw them in masks. They have to wear those masks. Remember, at the zoo right now, all the keepers that are working with the mammals are wearing masks. That's all just in case. That door he was just at is a place where he can go back there if he wants to. Excuse me. Uh-oh. That was fun. Some amazing adaptations on these guys to survive in the cold. Some are behavioral, some are things they do, some are physical. Whoop. Did I get a little too loud for you, Kaniki? I'm sorry. The physical adaptations, the short legs, small ears, the changing of the color, all those, and being a very opportunistic hunter. They're going to take lemmings, small rodents, birds and bird eggs, especially birds that can't fly in the moment because they're molting. They'll eat fish. Startled ya. They'll eat some berries. And you saw Rizzo earlier kind of pouncing through that ice to break through, to find that salmon oil that was at the bottom there. Get this. Sometimes they'll actually cache their food. Imagine you live in the far, far north, and you're an Arctic fox, and you've been hunting and hunting and hunting, and there's not a whole lot of food available. And you're able to find a bunch. You find a lot of lemmings. You find several birds. Well, you can't eat it all at once. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to save it? How are you going to keep it? How would we preserve that food here? How would we keep that food here? What would we do with it? Where are you going to put it? You've gone to the store and bought some meat. You have some milk, some cheese. Where are you going to put it?
Sort of what people are doing with toilet paper right now.
Some people are still kind of hoarding or caching, holding on to more than you need. So what the Arctic fox does is they dig down into the soil. And then they bury it. Why? Why bury it? Well, what's the temperature like under the ground? Is it hot? No. It's cold. So they're using a natural freezer. They're using the permafrost, the permanently frozen ground. Nice job, Wendy. How about Wendy getting that? Oh, digging through the ice. So they'll use... They use that naturally frozen ground, that permafrost, to maintain, to keep their food that they're finding. So they cache their food. And these little 5, 7, 8-pound foxes will also follow polar bears around. They follow polar bears, and they eat what the polar bear leaves behind. Now, the polar bear doesn't do that on purpose, but these guys will take advantage of that. That's salmon dog food. If you hear that crunching, salmon flavored dog food as well. So some really cool adaptations to survival. If you look around, you might have seen that culvert looking thing that's in the habitat. There's Wendy's going to show you the culvert. Excuse me. These guys are major diggers. You kind of see them, you've seen them, especially Rizzo today, digging through the ice. There's Rizzo again. 5-year-old male or female. When they're digging for dens, for burrows, or for food. These guys will dig dens that can be 100 feet across. 100 feet. These little foxes can dig dens that large. And the cool thing to me is they use those dens year after year after year. And as a matter of fact, families will use those dens year after year after year. Multi-generational, using the same den, the same home, generation after generation. There's many openings, many places you can go. The animals can get in and out. Hi, Kaniki. So those multi-generational dens are really cool. Leslie talked about that when she talked about her trip to Churchill. And I got to see some of those dens as well. And there's so many openings.
I think they started to dig a little hole over here we can look
they
at.
did?
Yeah, right around this ice.
Okay.
You can see. So even
nice.
And remember, the keepers told us they had to fill in some holes back in the back part of their habitat, and they actually had to put rocks on it.
Yep.
So they wouldn't go back to digging.
Yep. Just trying to keep everything safe and secure here.
So still doing natural behaviors here as well.
So here's Kaniki. They tell us Kaniki is the little more dominant of the two, a little bit more of the boss. He is a male, but he is also a year younger. He's also very playful. They say that he'll play with the keepers. He'll do like a play bow. Oh, you're going to get up on his pedestal there. Those of you that have dogs at home may recognize that play bow. Let's see if I can do a play bow. See if I can do a play bow.
You got bad knees. Be careful.
Okay, I'm not getting all the way up.
Okay.
So when you see the dog, kind of go down like that, kind of wiggle his butt a little bit, and he's like, ready to play? Ready to play? Kind of up and down. That's that play bow. And he's saying, let's play, time to play. And they say that Kaniki, the one that's losing a lot of the fur, will play with the keepers and kind of get them to play. He'll run with them in the habitat sometimes. They told us, you got to love the keepers and their wonderful relationships. They told us that Rizzo has that beautiful cat eye look. Almost like she's wearing some sort of mascara. Almost has a cat eye appearance to her. A little bit more patient. Both of them very good learners. So you're cleaning off her paws there. Another one of the amazing adaptations these guys have. And I didn't talk about it much because it's hard to see, but their paws have fur on the top and bottom of the foot. Having fur on the bottom of your foot, oh, good idea, Wendy. Having fur on the bottom of your foot, if you're an Arctic animal, gives you warmth and traction. Hey, how are you? Wendy's showing you a picture here. This is on the graphic at the zoo. That picture is telling us something pretty cool. As I mentioned earlier, when they shed out that white fur, they have that more of a gray appearance. And that gray appearance is what helps them blend in or camouflage with their environment. But get this. On some islands of Alaska, they don't change color. They're a permanent blue phase, they call it. They don't change color throughout the year. And you can have this. You can have fox that change color and fox that don't change color in the same litter. I think that's kind of neat to think that. You can have both different color phases in the same litter of fox. There's Kaniki going back in the back area, and that's 100% okay, especially right now. Being closed, things are a little bit different here at the zoo. The animals are getting that wonderful care, everybody's still taking care of them, but they can kind of come and go from their night quarters as they please. It just gives them a little bit more space, a little more options, and more things to choose to do while they're here. Amazing. Look at that jumping around, climbing. Really good. Wendy's having a tough time keeping up with old Rizzo there.
Hopefully no one has motion sickness.
Hello. There's a little bit of an odor here. And a lot of fox have that smell, have that distinct odor. And it's just what they are. I do want to show you a skull. Show you two skulls. Hi guys. I mean, really? They're so similar. This one is the Arctic fox. You can see those killing teeth, those grinding molars back here. More omnivorous in their diet. And this one is a native to North Carolina. This little small gray fox. You can see the Arctic fox a little more burly, a little thicker. The gray fox, native to North Carolina, a little more skinny, not quite as burly, not quite as kind of ruggedly built. The Arctic fox is a hardy animal of the Arctic, able to survive some pretty tough conditions. Where the gray fox found more around our area. Gray fox, Arctic fox. We have a question?
I have a couple questions. One, somebody asked, why are Arctic foxes white? And then another question is, can they climb trees?
Ooh. Let's do the white one first. I'm getting a little relaxed. I hope you're okay with that. I kind of realized I sat on the pole. I know it's okay with you guys. The white color. I bet if you think about it, you'll figure out the why there, right? They're found in the far, far north. Snow and ice. They're going to be looking, that white color provides that magnificent camouflage. You can see Rizzo there would be camouflaged in the ice. If you're tuning in a little late, there's salmon oil in that ice pile, and there's little pieces of food in there as well. Rizzo might be finding some piles, some of the ice with the salmon oil on it. The second part of that question is, you know what? That's a great question. And I'm going to have to beg off a little bit. I'm going to cheat and say that there's no trees up there. So there's probably not very many opportunities for them to climb trees. They're usually found above the tree line in the Arctic. You saw, however, Rizzo scampering around really well on the rock faces. So as far as trees, I don't think so. Oops, sorry, Rizzo. I don't think so, more because there's no trees there. To scamper up and around on rock faces, I think that's okay. I think they can do that for sure. One neat thing about their population is, like a lot of other animals, the population of the Arctic fox is kind of tied to the population of its prey items. A lot of us have heard about some animals whose populations kind of rise and fall. They're cyclic. They go up and down for whatever reason. A lot of times that's tied to what they're eating. So the population of the Arctic fox will go up and down with the population of its prey. Small rodents, lemmings, and things like that. So you'll get that kind of cycle of the population going up and down. So as the prey goes up, the predator goes up. But when it reaches a certain point, as the prey items begin to fall or get less, of course the predator falls down as well. Makes it a little bit less in numbers. It was so neat. I don't know if it's appropriate or not to say. When I was in Churchill, it was kind of cool because we're there for polar bears. And we're there to see them and to learn about climate change. Well, I was lucky enough to, I'd lived in Alaska for a while, had been around polar bears, been around polar bear cubs and things like that, so really amazing time. I was really excited to see these guys in the wild. I had never seen them in the wild, and this was the first time at the North Carolina Zoo, was the first time I'd ever seen Arctic fox at all. So when I went up to Churchill, of course I wanted to see polar bears, I wanted to see peregrines and the falcons, the golden eagles and the other animals like that. But I really wanted to see Arctic fox, and we were lucky enough to have several around those tundra buggies, around those lodges that we had. Wendy.
I have a good question. Someone asked why they have big fluffy tails.
Why do they have big fluffy tails? And there Wendy's going to show you a great view of one in a second. There she goes. There goes Rizzo. They have those big fluffy tails for a couple reasons. One, when they're out running around, it provides balance. It provides balance. There's a nice shot again. And even when you see them up on those rocks, provides balance when scurrying around, when running around, kind of like the cougar. We mentioned those guys a long while back. But even more important than that, it provides warmth. They're able to kind of curl their tail around their bodies, almost like a blanket, like you guys might use a blanket in the middle of winter. So it provides that warmth for them. Remember, they're from the Arctic in the far north. So that wonderfully bushy tail provides balance, but even more than that, provides warmth for them. Oh, right through the tunnel. How cool is that?
That was cool.
Ooh. Wendy, I have something. Wendy.
Oh, sorry.
Wendy.
They're so cute.
They are cute, but we got something really cute too. Our friend Nikki been at it again, coming up with some really cute crafts. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing good. It's closed schools in North Carolina, huh? Well, we're here for you, as I know you're there for us. Check out these crafts. Let's do this one first. What is that? Paper towel tube. Fold at the top with wonderful little ears. Oh, look at Nikki, even coloring the inside of the ear. Nice job, Nikki. So just painted it white. Cut out a couple legs. How cool is that? And as the person who asked the question pointed out, a fluffy tail full of cotton.
Put it in the sun.
Put it in the sun.
There we go. There we go. Fluffy tail.
I take direction well. And then look at this one. It's a closed pin. It's a closed pin. So cute little face, cute little Arctic fox face, wonderful tail again. And you could use that for a variety of things, couldn't you? And you could even put a magnet maybe on the back. I don't like to tweak Nikki's crafts, but you could put a magnet back there, and you could use it as a clip for something. Cool.
It's kind of like me before quarantine and during quarantine.
Do not encourage her. Arctic foxes, amazing. So today we learned about a lot of their adaptations, the furry feet, the wonderful tail, that idea of caching or storing food as well. What a neat adaptation. They follow polar bears. They live in those multi-generational dens. They hang out there. One thing I didn't mention is that they mate for life. They're monogamous. There's not a whole lot. Their status is least concern. There's not a concern about their numbers, but in location, you've got to find what you find, right? And so when they find that mate, they typically stay with them year after year after year. We met Sally and Nicole. How nice. A couple shout outs for them. I wish I could remember all the names now. So they gave a shout out to the folks, and they put that wonderful enrichment out here, the ice pile, so the animals could pounce through them. Now, I'll put these back. I have one thing I want to share with you when we get back. All right. So, we try to do these live all the time, right? We try to do EDventures, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 o'clock. Some of you are tuning and answer questions a lot, and guys, it is so fun. Wendy and I watch these afterwards, and we try to reply and try to respond. It's so neat to see a lot of the same people that are there, kind of getting to know you, sort of, which is kind of fun. On Fridays live is going to be a taped version. We can't go everywhere in the park all the time. There's bad signals in some places, so we've taped Fridays. Now we kind of did it the same way, kind of did it like a live, kind of sharing and interacting, right? Asking you guys questions and going from there. Wendy and I will be on the live, however. So we'll be some of the people answering questions with you. So it'll be kind of fun for she and I, because we don't get to do that very often. We don't get to really interact with you sometimes until afterwards. So we're hoping to be able to do that with you during Friday's live. I'm going to tease the main animals. You guys have asked for turtles and tortoises. So you're going to meet two live animals. You're going to meet Franklin, and you're going to meet another animal. And then we're actually videoing at a special location, at another habitat, and the turtles and the tortoises, one of them is going to meet the other animal. Happens at the end of the video, so you've got to tune in and watch.
You don't want to miss it.
You really don't, guys.
Seriously, it's one of the cutest things I have seen in a very long time. And we work at a zoo and see cuteness all the time.
No, it's not the rhino. So I'll put that one. I want to make sure you guys are, I don't want your expectations way up here.
Oh, but it should be up there.
Really cute. So do tune in on Friday. And like I said, Wendy and I will be at the computer, so we'll still be live with you. We just won't be this kind of live in the moment. So do tune in Friday, 10 o'clock, for a kind of differences between turtles and tortoises, plus a really cool enrichment that happens at the end at a special location. We hope you guys tune in then as well. I think you'll enjoy it. So today, from Arctic Fox, we do truly appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope you're doing well. We're so happy you bring us into your classrooms, into your rooms, into your living rooms, into your kitchens, onto your deck, wherever you are today. We're so happy you did that. Happy to provide these for you in these moments. Tune in again, Zoo EDventures, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Don't forget Friday. The end is amazing. You'll love it. Trust me. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. See you again soon.